right, so get this. Today's deep dive, we're going into the world of YouTube. We're going behind the scenes with this creator. They're seriously candid about how they get views. It's kind of wild.
Really?
Yeah, we've got like leaked DMs and even a PDF. It's like they just laid out their whole playbook, no filter. We're going to see if going viral and being truthful can like even coexist. What do you think?
It's like holding up a distorted mirror, I think, to the internet and how we see truth and information now.
Whoa, I like that distorted mirror.
Yeah.
Because one of the first things that jumped out from these sources was this creator straight up saying, it doesn't matter if it's false. Like, whoa.
Wow.
Talking about a video that used a photoshopped image of P. Diddy, and they're so upfront about it.
Yeah, it's really interesting how this whole ecosystem online, especially on places like YouTube that thrive on views and engagement, it incentivizes creators to choose sensationalism over accuracy.
It's like they're saying, yeah, it's fake, but watch this, and then boom, over 100 views in 15 minutes.
Right.
Like, part of me admires the hustle, but then the other part is like, how often are we falling for this?
More often than we realize, I would say. This creator is clearly tuned in like the psychology of clickbait, right? They even brag about how you're going to have to really not care what people say about the content. They're basically saying, bring on the outrage because it just drives more engagement.
Oh, totally. Like that video with the misleading title about Kamala Harris and P. Diddy.
Exactly. They even talked about putting the question mark in the title, knowing it would get people going in the comments. So they're using our own curiosity and sometimes our anger against us to get those views.
It's not even just about getting people riled up, though, right? There's this other layer where this creator talks about how people will just completely stretch the truth in the comments to fit their own narratives. It's like they're fishing for these extreme reactions.
They actually use that analogy. They say they caught them with a hook and then find it amusing how worked up people get.
Yeah.
It's a little unsettling how self-aware they are, manipulating not just the algorithm, but the viewers themselves.
It's kind of like we're all playing some massive game of digital charades, and this creator is just really good at like calling out all the moves.
Right. And what's interesting is they're not just playing the game, they're commenting on it. They're openly admitting to these tactics that most creators won't even acknowledge, This opens up a whole nother conversation about online content.
Totally. Like, what happens when we become aware of these tactics, Does it change how we watch videos? Because I have a feeling this isn't just a YouTube thing.
Yeah, we're hitting on something big. This creator's insights, even though they might be kind of disturbing, point to a larger trend. They even compare their tactics to those employed by, and I quote, political parties.
Wait, are they saying politicians are using photoshopped P. Diddy images too? Because I gotta see.
Not quite, but they're saying there's a similar principle at play. Grabbing your attention, exploiting emotions, creating an us versus them kind of thing. It's like this massive online manipulation game, and politics isn't immune.
Okay, that's a pretty heavy thought. Makes you wonder where it ends. Like, is everything we see online just another form of clickbait?
It's a good question. I mean, we are living in a time where anybody can create content and reach a global audience, right? And while that's amazing in a lot of ways, it also means we have to be more critical than ever.
So what does that mean for us? Are we doomed to just live in this world where we can't trust anything online?
Not necessarily, no. We just need to be smarter consumers. Think of it like anything else in life. Once you know the rules of the game, you can play it more effectively, right?
Okay, I like that. So what are some things we can do to be like more discerning viewers?
One of the biggest things is diversify your sources. Don't just rely on a single creator or platform, right? And be critical of the information, especially if it's making you really emotional.
Solid advice. It's like you can't just trust the person who shouts the loudest. You got to listen to everyone at the table, right?
Exactly.
Maybe that's why it's so hard to trust political content online, because it's just a bunch of shouting.
It is. And it's not just politics. This applies to everything. Online news, trends, even, those cute cat videos.
Wait, so you're saying we can't even trust cats online? That's a slippery slope.
Well, maybe not the cats themselves, but, the videos, the headlines, the memes, they're all part of this online content landscape.
Okay. All right, you've convinced me. I need to start looking at YouTube differently. Maybe I'll switch from watching dramatic chipmunk to, like, philosophical chipmunk or something.
See, even in humor, there's an opportunity to think critically. You're getting it.
This deep dive has been, well, it's been a bit of a mind bender, but it's definitely made me think more about my relationship with online content. I'm not saying I'm going cold turkey on YouTube, but
right.
I'm definitely going to be more mindful.
And that's the point, right? The goal isn't to shut it all out. It's to be more informed.
Right.
Isn't that more empowering than just clicking play?
You know what? You're right. So next time you're scrolling through YouTube, take a second to pause and ask yourself, why am I watching this? Who created it? What are they trying to tell me?
Exactly. And just because it's popular doesn't make it true. Question everything. Stay curious. In this digital world, knowledge is power.
Until next time, stay informed, stay curious, and keep that critical thinking muscle working. This is The Deep Dive, signing off. This whole thing really makes you think, though.
It does.
Like, we're all kind of playing this massive game of digital charades.
Right.
And this creator is just, like, really good at knowing the moves and calling them out.
Yeah. And what's so interesting is they're not just playing. They're like providing commentary at the same time. They're
Yeah.
openly admitting to these tactics that a lot of creators won't even acknowledge.
Yeah.
And it opens up this whole other conversation about online content and how we look at it.
Totally. So,
Yeah.
like, what happens when we become aware of these tactics? Does it change how we watch videos? Because I have a feeling this isn't just a YouTube thing.
No, you're hitting on something really crucial here.
Okay.
This creator's insights, even though they might be disturbing, point to a larger trend.
Okay.
They even compare their tactics to those used by, and I quote, political parties.
Hold on. Are they saying politicians are using photoshopped P. Diddy pictures too? Because that I gotta see.
Not quite,
Okay.
but they are suggesting that there's this similar principle at play,
Okay.
grabbing attention,
Right.
exploiting emotions, creating that us versus them kind of feeling.
Right.
It's like this massive online manipulation game is going on,
Yeah.
and politics is not immune.
Okay. That's a pretty heavy thought.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder where it ends. Like, is everything we see online just another form of clickbait?
It's a valid question. We are living in a time where anyone can create content and reach a global audience.
That's true.
And while that's amazing in a lot of ways, it also means we have to be way more critical than ever.
So what does that mean for us? Like, are we doomed to live in this world where we can't trust anything we see online?
Not necessarily, no. We just have to be smarter consumers.
All right.
Think of it like anything else in life. Once you know the rules of the game,
Yeah.
you can play it more effectively.
Okay. I like that. So what are some things we can do to be like more discerning viewers?
One of the biggest things, diversify your sources.
Okay.
Don't just rely on one creator or platform for everything.
Right.
And always be critical of the information you're taking in, especially if it's making you really emotional.
So it's like you can't just trust the person who shouts the loudest. You got to listen to everyone at the table to get the full picture.
Right, exactly.
Maybe that's what makes political content online so hard to trust, because it's just so much shouting.
It is. And it's not just politics. This applies to everything online.
Really?
News trends, even those cute cat videos we see all the time.
Wait, you're telling me we can't even trust cats online now? That's a slippery slope, my friend.
Well, maybe not the cats themselves.
Okay.
But the videos, the headlines, the memes, it's all part of this online content landscape we need to be aware of.
Okay. Okay. All right. You've convinced me. I need to start looking at YouTube differently. Maybe I'll switch from watching like dramatic chipmunk to philosophical chipmunk or something.
See, even in humor, there's an opportunity to think critically. You're getting it.
This deep dive has been, well, it's been a bit of a mind bender, but it's definitely made me think more about my relationship with online content.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm going cold turkey on YouTube,
Right.
but
For
simply going to
sure.
be more mindful.
And that's the whole point, right? The goal isn't to shut it all out. It's to be more informed and discerning about what you're consuming.
Right.
And honestly, isn't that a little more empowering than just clicking play?
You know what? You're right. It's about taking back control. So next time you're scrolling through YouTube, just take a second to pause and ask yourself, why am I watching this? Who made this? What are they trying to tell me?
Exactly. And just because it's popular doesn't mean it's true. Question everything. Stay curious. In this digital world, knowledge is power.
Until next time, stay informed, stay curious, and keep that critical thinking muscle working. This is the Deep Dive signing off. So where do we even go from here? Are we just stuck in a world where every headline is like a trap and every video is trying to, mess with our heads?
Well, not necessarily, right? I mean, it's not like we're powerless. We're talking about a playbook here, a set of strategies. Once you see the moves, you can learn to play the game a little differently.
So we need to learn the language of clickbait to beat it.
Yeah,
Learn how to spot those red flags that tell us, hey, maybe don't believe everything you see.
exactly. It's about media literacy, right?
Right.
It's kind of crazy that they don't really teach you that in school, but it's so important now, especially as adults. You got to understand, What are the motivations behind this content? What tactics are they using? What biases might be there?
This deep dive has been pretty eye-opening, not gonna lie. But I'm also a bit overwhelmed. It's a lot to take in, having to be so critical about everything online all the time.
It is a shift in thinking, for sure, but it's really necessary these days. For a long time, people just assumed, oh, it's on the internet, it must be true. But that's not how it works anymore. Anyone can create content, and that means we have to be way more careful about what we choose to believe.
Okay, I get that. But like, where do we even start? How do we actually use those critical thinking skills in our everyday lives, when we're scrolling online?
Here's a good rule of thumb. If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is, especially online. Like those headlines that are designed to make you angry or scared, take a breath, right? Zoom out a little. Ask yourself, is there a bigger story here? What's the agenda?
And don't just stick to your own little bubble. Right. Look for different perspectives, different sources.
100%. Don't just listen to the loudest voice in the room. Listen to everyone at the table.
Right. Maybe that's why it's so tough to trust political content online, because it feels like everyone's just shouting.
Exactly. And it's not just politics. This goes for, the latest trends, news stories, even those cute cat videos.
Hold on. You're telling me I can't even trust cats online anymore?
Yeah.
That's a dangerous path, my friend.
Well, maybe not the cats themselves.
Okay, good.
But, the videos, the headlines, the whole 9 yards, right? It's all part of that same online content game.
Okay, I'm convinced. I got to start looking at YouTube and everything online in a whole new light. Maybe I'll switch from watching Dramatic Chipmunk to, like, what, Philosophical Chipmunk or something.
See? Even in humor, there's an opportunity for critical thinking. You're getting it.
This deep dive has definitely been, well, it's been a trip, honestly. But I'm walking away with a whole new awareness about, my own relationship with online content. Not saying I'm going to, like, delete my accounts or anything.
Right.
But I'm going to be a lot more mindful about what I click on and who I choose to listen to.
And that's what it's all about, right? It's about taking back that control, being intentional about what you consume online. Because ultimately, isn't that way more empowering than just passively scrolling and clicking play?
You're absolutely right. So next time you open up YouTube or any social media platform, really just take a second, pause, ask yourself, why am I watching this? Who made this? What are they trying to tell me, and what are they not telling me?
Exactly. Popularity doesn't equal truth. Keep questioning, keep exploring different viewpoints, and never stop being curious. Because in this crazy digital world, knowledge really is power.
And that's a wrap on this deep dive into the sometimes shady, always fascinating world of YouTube and online content creation. Until next time, stay informed, stay curious, and keep that critical thinking muscle working. This is The Deep Dive, signing off.